Welcome to my video, Mike here. Today I'm in Siem Reap in Cambodia, just outside at the famous Angkor Wat, built in the 12th century by Khmer King Suvarnabhum II. Now this is a designated Unesco World Heritage Site, approved in 1992. It's a fabulous place to come to. If you're coming to Cambodia, you cannot miss Angkor Wat. It's about 15 minutes in the tuk-tuk. My tuk-tuk driver picked me up from the hotel, and it's only 5 or 6 kilometres here. It's the world's largest religious structure, covering 400 acres, and it's got over 1,000 buildings. I spent a full day here. I'm an old stonemason by career, so this was incredibly impressive for me to see this, the size and structure of it. And just to see the workmanship that's gone into it is just amazing, considering how old it is. There's lots of different talk about how old it is. It's believed to have been built in 1150 as a Hindu temple, and then later transformed over the century into a Buddhist temple. So it's, yeah, look, I find it hard to believe that the workmanship in it was done by mankind. This was some type of pool or meeting place. But we're a fair way off the ground here. So can you imagine the weight of these sandstone blocks and what's holding them up? It's just amazing. Just staggering. When you think the massive sandstone blocks are reputed to be 1,500 kilograms in weight, they were transported from quarries at Mount Kulin, which is 50 kilometres away. So in other words, they were floated down the canals to the site. The stones were lifted by Khmer engineers. They used wooden rods. They made small holes in the blocks, and they used the rods to lift it and manoeuvre the stones into place. You've got to bear in mind this is a dry stone construction as well. There's no mortar used in the joints. So I was looking at it, everything is perfectly aligned. There's no gaps. Massive structures, like some of the stones were 3 metres in height. And they had to balance and sit perfectly alongside of each other for it to be strong structure. Just incredible for me to think about it. No idea how they have done this intricate stonework where it's carved into the blocks. The amount of time that it would have been taken to do this is incredible. I just can't believe it. It's just such a massive, it's a massive temple and intricate work detail into it. And there's the ceiling. The ceiling blocks are up there and there's no protection. So they'd have to keep their eye on whether one was going to drop or not. But look at the intricate design on these pillars. The workmanship that went into them is just amazing. Everywhere you look. So if you think about coming to Siem Reap, you can't not come here. It's just incredible. Never seen anything else like this before. This section here's got some mesh, iron mesh, running across the top of it in case any fragments or any of the stones break away. If one of those big blocks fell, it'd be a big problem. That's how the original would have looked, with those 6 columns to it there out the window. Oh, here we go again, another massive area. as you walk around Angkor Wat, you go on different levels too. Its maximum height is 213 metres. So these heavy blocks have been lifted up to massive heights. Here in front of you there is a staircase. That was the original staircase, and they block it off because it's so steep. Its angle is so sharp that it's dangerous to walk up it. But that's how they used it, 1,000 years ago. But as you walk around, see the sandstone's gone all black through pollution and dust and dirt ingrained in it. But as you'll see there on the right hand side, there's some renovation work. They've replaced some blocks there. Those new blocks have just been fitted in place. They're not perfect, but that's how they would have originally looked when they're done new. Just placed up alongside the old blocks there. But as you can see, it's a massive structure. A lot of it is open to the general public, but of course all these buildings along the perimeter of it here, massive areas, a lot of those are closed. There's a lot of renovation work going on where you'll see scaffolding up and stonemasons are working up top of areas. There's another staircase here. Look how sharp it is. Look how steep the flight is there. So they're all closed off from the public. My only complaint a whole lot of it is this staircase that we had to go up. That is really steep and dangerous. There's a lot of steps there they're almost on top of each other. And I bet you there's a lot of people who would slip off one of those steps. There's some workmen up there doing some restoration work or something. But there's the original steps, which you're obviously not allowed to go up. But there's another set. They're everywhere, these sets of stairs. And they are unbelievably steep. Oh, there's some sections where they're working on it now. You can see scaffolding set up there. So obviously there's a safety factor with all this, but most of it is open to the public. Carvings into the wall here. This is the third major temple I've been into. There's so many different sections of this. There's other temples which you can go to as well, but I've just gone to Angkor Heritage Site, and this is the third major temple I've been into. Now this huge wall in front of us here, it's a massive length, as you can see. All these indentation scriptures have been carved in. I just couldn't believe it. To me, it looked like some sort of laser treatment had been done. To get everything so perfectly rounded and sculptured in such small design was just remarkable. All these pillars, every pillar had these indentations with minute, perfectly rounded scriptures and designs. This area again is another outdoor meeting area, a religious area. There's about 2 or 3 of all of these, symmetrical in shape. And on the perimeter there you'd see rooms where obviously people lived. But amazing place. On the pillars here you'll see the original sandstone colour, but on the front, as you see, they're all gone black. Black through mould, dust, pollution, dirt's just ingrained into the stone. Unbelievable. Another grassed area where the temple just, there's lots of different rooms to it. None of it's just flat sandstone, it's all got intricate designs in it. Every pillar, every wall has got this workmanship on it. Oh, it's amazing. There's another pool. The other side's got the same section as this. Bathing area of some kind. This walkway where thousands of people walk across this every day. This is just slowly being worn away, but the cappings, the stone cappings here are still pretty good, but they've all gone black because of the dust and dirt settling on it. So I've come out on the eastern side of Angkor Wat here, waiting to head back to my tuk-tuk driver who's going to take me to another temple. But those three big temples up the top there, they're 213 metres above ground level. So can you imagine the weight? How did they get them up there with the technology they didn't have back in those days, 1,000 years ago? Just incredible to think how they did it, or if they did it. That was great. My tuk-tuk driver was waiting. When you leave the heritage grounds, had to go to the east gate. He was waiting there, first in line, to pick me up with a bottle of water. So that was great. Yeah, so my tuk-tuk riders dropped me off to another temple called Prohm, which is only 1 kilometre away from Angkor Thom, which I was just at. This is built in the late 12th century, this temple. It's a Buddhist monastery and centre for learning, as it was the reasons it was built. But I was looking at this wall, the perimeter wall that used to protect it, obviously. It was about 3 metres high. So it's about 900 years old, and it's gradually eroding away. Every 700 or 800 metres there was a little gate, but there's so much work to do on that just the sheer weight of work to try and re-establish it would be too great. This is the front of Prohm. Now this is in nowhere near as good a condition as Angkor Wat, which I just was at earlier. But this is called the Tomb Raider Temple because Lara Croft Tomb Raider movie was made here in 2001. So it's pretty famous for that. But this is the temple which has got a lot of tree damage, as you'll see. I walk right around it and there's been a lot of the blocks have fallen away. There's a lot of blocks, sandstone blocks on the ground. There's an enormous number of trees that have grown up inside the temple. So it's gradually just being pushed and moved around. Yes, so this is what happens. The blocks are falling down. Look at the size of these sandstone blocks. There's just so much work. You couldn't possibly keep all this restored. There's kilometres and kilometres of sandstone block work. Look at this tree that's just grown up in the middle of this temple. Look at that. Incredible. Yeah, this temple is not in the same condition as Angkor Wat, which was earlier. There's lots of fallen blocks here. Blocks just sitting precariously on top of each other. And, you know, obviously they're falling at some stages, like up there. It's pretty loose up there. There. When I see this, I think Australia. If the Australian governments, knowing how cautious and how conservative they are, I can tell you right now, if it was Australia, public wouldn't be just walking around like this. They'd say this is too dangerous. There's millions and millions come through here each year, and they're walking through tunnels and yeah. Here we go again with a tree. A tree built, it's just growing within the temple. And look at the size of the roots. That is a root there. That's the hulk of the tree there. And these are the roots running down. It's just slowly pushing the stone away as it's growing. Here's another tree. There's a lot of trees growing inside the temple now.
You are already to go the other side, stand the other side.
Here's this tree on the other side of it. Look at the size of it. These people are standing inside the tree trunk. That is incredible. Oh my God, look at it. It's said that the king constructed the temple in honour of his family. So Prohm, where I am, and another one called the Preah Khan, they were home to 12,500 people, 18 high priests, 615 dancers, and an additional 80,000 inhabitants lived in the surrounding villages. So it's amazing. The Indian government is doing a little bit of conservation work just to try and make it safe, but basically it's been decided to let Prohm, this temple we're looking at, just to leave it in its original state. Obviously with the trees and the damage, it's too far gone now to be able to rebuild it, so they're just trying to maintain it as a tourist attraction, I think. But as you can see, all the blocks, the walls, the perimeter walls been knocked down. There's just so much to do. I've kept walking. I walked all the way down this track thinking that there was more to see, more temples that way, but I got to the end there and that was the end of it. I didn't have a guide. You can hire a guide here. My tuk-tuk driver offered to come through with me, But I said to him, don't worry. But so there it is, Angkor Wat. If you're coming to Cambodia, you must come to Siem Reap to have a look at this. It's classified in the top 7 wonders of the world. I absolutely loved it. I spent a full day there almost. But I'm a retired stonemason, so I have an interest in stonemasonry work. And looking at all the detailed work and the weight of everything, as much as I'd love to believe that it was done by humans 900 to 1,000 years ago, I just can't wrap my head around that it was able to be done in that time period when there was no machinery, no power, and those blocks, the weight to lift them up and place them with no mortar in the joints to keep it stabilised, I just find it almost impossible to believe that it was done by humans. But anyway, I hope you enjoyed the video. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you next time.